Tell us about your practice and the clients that you represent.
Okay, my practice mainly consists of motor vehicle accidents. We represent a large portion of our clients are Spanish-speaking clients, but we do everything from slip and falls, dog bites, medical negligence, uh, anything involving a negligent type claim we'll get involved in. And then on top of that, we also help clients out with getting their insurance companies to pay for their medical bills, which is also a component of the motor vehicle, or at least the negligence claim. But it's becoming more and more of a litigious process to get the insurance company to pay for the bills that their clients have incurred. So that's another big piece of it. We also do some business law. It's probably about 90% negligence claims and about 10% business law, because my background was, in the very beginning, was tax and business, but then I became a trial attorney about 10 years ago, and so I've stayed pretty much doing the negligence trial work. So,
How many people are employed in your firm? How many lawyers, paralegals, etc. do you have?
well, currently we have 2 lawyers, myself and another lawyer, and then we have a staff of 17, and it fluctuates. In the summer, we usually take on 2 or 3 interns. Most of them are undergraduate type interns. We've had some law student interns during the year. So we try to keep it right around that 20 number. We have 2 offices, so the bigger of the 2 offices is in Hillsborough, but our Portland office near Clackamas has almost as many clients, and so the lawyers work back and forth.
So tell me about how you develop your clients and market your services, and then I'm going to ask you why you decided to become a solo practitioner and what opportunities exist for solo practitioners.
Sure. Well, see, the way we developed our practice and our marketing, the very beginning was just word of mouth. So I grew up in this community. I've been in Hillsborough over 30 years. I have all my family's here except for one brother. Lots of friends from high school and members in the community, and I've been involved in a lot of organizations, including my church and a lot of my kids' clubs and sports and things like that. So when I started my practice, I had a large group of friends slash clients who I'd been doing some work for. I started off at doing insurance defense work, and then I had some personal clients there. So when I came into this practice as a solo, I started with them, and then just word of mouth. Somebody got in an accident, hey, you need to call this guy, and they'd call me. And I remember coming into my office sometimes, and there's that little flashing light that says you've got a message, and I'd come in at lunchtime and I would pray, oh, I hope the light's flashing. And I'd look at it, and it wasn't flashing. I'd be like, oh no, what do I do now? And within 3-4 months, I'd come in and say, gosh, I hope the light's not flashing, because that means I got more phone calls to return. But started off word of mouth. Then we also branched into radio, newspaper, yellow pages. We've done mass mailings. More recently, as our marketing budget has grown, we've gone into television, and so we sponsor a lot of events, a lot of cultural events, local events, and those are just basically name sponsors. We get our name on a big banner and put a tent or a table out there and hand out cards.
What sorts of events?
A lot of the community stuff here in Hillsborough, farmers market, the Hispanic, any of the Hispanic holidays. Cinco de Mayo is a big one. There's a couple events that go on here in town. There's a big one in Portland. We do auctions, the church auction. We sponsor the church here in downtown Hillsborough. There's a large Catholic church with a big Spanish-speaking community, and we sponsor a lot of their events. We sponsor the Virgen de Guadalupe Day in December, which is a big popular event among the Spanish-speaking community. People drive from all over the state at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to church. I mean, it's a big event. So whatever comes up that we think is a good cause and worth putting some money into, we like to donate and help out.
Have you ventured into social media at all?
You mean like Facebook?
Facebook.
Yeah, that tells you
LinkedIn?
right there how much I know about it. You know, I have a Facebook account. I use it mainly for personal reasons, friends, high school. We had our high school reunion. We put that on there, and I put on there that I'm a lawyer. I haven't used it as much as I know other lawyers have. My thought on that really is I don't know it well enough, and I don't know that my client base really uses it that much. They might. Same with the internet. We have an internet website, but for my clients, it hasn't been as big of a draw as some of these other areas.
Okay.
But it could be in the future here.
Someday perhaps.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to become a solo practitioner, and what opportunities exist for solo practitioners?
Well, as I said, I did the insurance defense probably about 7 years, and so I understood the litigation side from the defense perspective. And when you become a solo, you have to figure out, are you going to work on the plaintiff side, or are you going to try to stay on the defense side and get new clients there? I was at a large firm, or excuse me, they were a small firm, but they had very good clients, lots of clients. And they were very good at trial work, and so I learned a lot there. So I got my experience as a trial attorney through a small, like a boutique trial firm. They were very good at what they did, and so I was very lucky to learn from some very good lawyers. And then when I had enough experience, the decision is always, do you become a partner at your old firm, or do you go out and do it yourself? And it just came up that I should probably go out and try this on my own. But prior to that, I did work at a large firm, and so I knew that side of it too. And I thought maybe working on my own might be a little better. So it was more of a personal choice. It's scary, you go out on your own. You need to make sure that you're going to be able to pay the bills, but there's definitely some good things for it too.
So what opportunities do you see for solo practitioners?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of people that need help that might not need to go to a large firm. Solo practitioners, I think, in my opinion, can help their communities because they're right there, they're active, they're in the community. They get a lot of referrals from friends and friends of friends, and where I see it is in a lot of the immigration, like immigration sections. Immigration law is big, family law. And if we're just talking about the Hispanic market, the Spanish-speaking community, there aren't a lot of lawyers that do that in family law and also the immigration component, and also the personal injury, what I do. So I see a lot of opportunity there. Also bankruptcy, trust and estates, there's a lot there, tax. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. But with solo work, you have to have knowledge. And so where I think the opportunity lies is in someone who's done this maybe at a small or medium-sized firm or even a large firm, and then has gone out on their own. Because when you're a solo and people come and see you, they expect you to know what you're doing. And that's kind of one of the pitfalls. It's really hard to come right out of school and just hang up a shingle, because you don't know what you're doing yet, or at least you have an idea, but there's a lot of opportunities to make mistakes. And so if you have somebody who's helping you, a mentor is always helpful, or your own personal experience from working at other firms, I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity for you then, because then you go out and you can make business. You can find business, you can help people out, you can get involved, and there's a lot of work out there.
And what business model do you use to collect attorney's fees?
We are a 99% contingency law firm, which means you don't get paid unless you win, or you collect, or you settle, or something. You have to prevail in some way, and that fits my model because a lot of my clients don't have money, and I've even taken some of my business cases on a percentage or on some form of future payment plan that's sort of like a contingency, but a lot of my clients don't have the money to pay the attorney fees or pay a retainer. Although I recommend it, if you can get the retainer for an hourly type case, you should always do that first, because it's harder to collect, obviously, from a client that doesn't necessarily have money. Otherwise, or you just do it pro bono, But contingency, I think, is the way to go. It makes the lawyer work harder. The client's happy because if you win more money, they win more money. As far as the Spanish-speaking community, they understand that. You see a lot of yellow pages, si no ganamos, no cobramos. If we don't win, we don't bill, right? And so that's a term that they've all come to know. And that's always a concern. Whenever you go see a lawyer, oh, it's going to cost me money, or I can't afford that, or I can't deal with the headache. And so a lot of clients will try to take this stuff on their own in the beginning, not knowing that, hey, there's a lawyer here who he's going to sit down, he's going to listen to your case, and if you have a case, he'll take it, and if not, he'll tell you that too, and he's not going to bill you for it. And it's almost a free service in the beginning. But it's good because a lot of my clients didn't grow up in the American legal system. They don't quite understand it. And maybe they didn't learn it in school either. And so getting a free consultation and a lawyer who says, hey, if we don't win anything, you don't owe me anything. If we get your bills paid, and that's it, well, at least you got your bills paid. But I'm not going to send you a bill after that. That's a huge relief to a lot of these folks. Because they're working hand to mouth, and another bill is not something they're looking for, and they can't afford it, and they have no way of paying for it, and it's just more stress. So getting that knowledge out there helps. I think everyone should have an opportunity for some form of legal advice, free legal advice if they can get it. I think it's just fair to know what your rights are. And a lot of my clients don't even think they have rights. They come in thinking, oh, gee, maybe I'm not a citizen here, or I don't have the right documentation, or, I owe money. What do I do? Maybe I don't have rights. Well, in most circumstances, you do have rights, and our country provides rights. And so there's a little bit of a joke sometimes in the auto cases that we'll tell the clients. For example, if we'll tell them if the Queen of England comes to America and gets hit in a God forbid, an auto accident, right? She has a right to make a claim, right? Well, she's not a citizen, and but she has that right, And if an American citizen goes to England and is in an auto accident, well, they have a right too. So you have a right to find out what you might be entitled to. And they laugh, they think that's kind of funny. But knowledge is really the key. They need to know. And so the contingency model helps that. Helps them know they're not, going to get hit with a bill at the end of the day.
And it seems like it's been a viable, sustainable business model for you, given that you have 2 offices, 17 employees, and two attorneys working for you now.
Yeah, it works. I put a lot of hours into it. That's why I look like this. I don't get a lot of sleep sometimes. It works for me, and I'm going to try to keep doing it as long as I can. And, I've enjoyed it. We try to treat our staff and our clients like family, like you want to be treated, And I've been lucky enough that I've worked lots of different jobs. You name it, I've done it. I've built houses. I was a garbage man. I picked berries. I've done everything. that you can imagine. And uh, I've always thought that, someday if I ever have my business, this is how I want to treat my employees. And my clients, I want to treat them like friends or family. If I see them down the street, I want them to say, hey, and I get that. Like, people will come up to you in the grocery store and want to talk about the case. Like, they think that it's the only case you have and it's right here in your head. And some of them, I know exactly what's going on, but others, I have to tell them, look, I'm sorry, I got to go back and grab your file and research it. Why don't you call my office and we'll make an appointment on Monday? But just the idea that they think they can, like, walk right up to me and say, hey, Patrick, how's it going? How's my case? If they feel that comfortable, then I must be doing something right, and I'm okay with that. But it's worked out for us. The whole model, the contingency, the clients. The clients are very humble. A lot of good people out there. You always get the trouble case as well, but you don't give up and you find a solution. Because that's kind of what we are as lawyers. We're problem solvers. So we try to solve the issue. And sometimes you have to go to litigation, but even through litigation, you're a problem solver.
So tell us about what advice you have for lawyers who are representing Spanish-speaking clients who are not familiar with the U.S. legal system.
Sure. Well, my first piece of advice is if you know the language and you can use it yourself to speak Spanish to them directly, because that's going to put you on a whole new playing field with them in terms of respect with each other and them understanding their case and they understand that you understand. If you can't speak to them in their native language, then having someone who's competent, maybe a staff member, or even hire a translator, another lawyer, someone who can translate and interpret what the client's needs are and what the lawyer can do for them, so there's no confusion, just to avoid any pitfalls or any misunderstanding of what the goals are and the objectives are. So that would be my first piece of advice: is if you can figure out a structure where you can where you can speak to the client. That's number one. 2, know the law. Know the law well. A lot of these folks come from countries where lawyers, unfortunately, can be bribed. They don't appreciate or respect the legal system the way we do here. There's no bar association the way we understand it here. I think we're all members, all lawyers are all members of the bar, and you want to uphold certain standards. And in their home country, it's not like that. And so there's already, as they walk into the interview or the first contact, they're already concerned with, who's this guy, who's this lawyer, what is he going to get out of me? I'm going to give him my case, but what's he getting out of me? So there's always that little level of mistrust maybe. And so you want to try to establish that you're there for them. You're not there for the defendant or the insurance company or their opponent. You're not there for the judge or the jury. You're there to represent them. But in doing so, you're going to tell them, hey, this is not going to look good in front of a judge, or this is going to work better for you in front of a jury, or this is not a good case, or this is a good case. And so they're looking for someone who's going to give them advice. And as we talked earlier, sometimes they'll bring somebody in with them, a family member, a relative. Many times they'll bring a fellow employee or even a boss who speaks English. And they'll sit there and listen and tell their friend, yeah, you should go with this lawyer. Or, I don't know, I didn't get a good vibe. So some of that's going on too during these interviews. So I would tell a lawyer who's going to go solo is to learn the language, know the law, speak confidently to the client, be honest with them. If they have a good case or a bad case, tell them, if you think it's going to take a long time, don't make promises you can't deliver. That's another thing. You don't want to tell someone you're going to have their case resolved in 3 months and then have it be 6 months. Tell them it's a 2-year statute of limitation in the state of Oregon for a negligence case. It can take up to 2 years, and if you file, it could take another year through the court system. And so we always tell them we try to do things much quicker than that. Another thing you might want to establish is a sort of understanding about the phone system and how the phone works at your office. Clients want callbacks. They want feedback. And so they'll call your office and leave a message. And if you don't call them back because maybe you're too busy or you got to get the interpreter to call them back or someone who speaks Spanish to call them back, they'll get upset. And rightly so. I mean, they want to know what's going on in their case. And so a lot of times just establishing that when the law firm has a question, we'll be calling you. If you guys have a question, go ahead and call us, and we'll try to get back to you within a day or two. If you want to come and see us and make an appointment, the door's always open. Maybe if your firm's not willing to take phone calls on the weekends, you should probably tell them that too, because they'll call you. And if there's an accident or they need a quick answer, they might expect you to come out to their house and do some work there. And I always recommend to lawyers, meet in a public place, meet at Starbucks or McDonald's, or if they can't come to your office, try to meet them somewhere that you can sit down and talk over the case and maybe not go to their house. If you need to go maybe to the hospital, that's okay. Some of my cases, I've got clients that are calling from the hospital and they need immediate legal advice, and so we'll go to the hospital. So I think just being available to your clients, treating them like you want to be treated, but understanding that they're looking to you for advice. And so don't be afraid to tell them exactly what you think. They'll appreciate that a lot more than some lawyer who is telling them, oh yeah, we're going to win, this is a no-brainer, and then you don't win. Or you're telling them a certain amount of money that you think that they could win. And I'm just giving you examples from my motor vehicle type cases, but they're going to expect that. And so, you want to make sure that if you're giving them expectations, that they're realistic. Also, maybe not taking on cases that you have no knowledge about. Send off a referral. There's actually, for Spanish-speaking clients, there are Spanish yellow pages. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I can't do that kind of work. And if you can do it, or you think you can, then study up on it and give them good legal advice.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I would say to any new lawyer or lawyer in transition to just enjoy what you're doing, because the clients, they feed off of that. They're coming to you with their biggest concerns and problems. So think of it as problem solving. This is the single most important thing going on in their life. And you helping them out is very important to them. And maybe because they don't speak the language or they don't have a high profile job, a lot of my clients are lower income, and maybe they don't dress well, or there might be like a socioeconomic issue going on there, but treat them like people. Treat them with respect. I've had clients come to my office after a win and after a loss, and they bring me home cooked food. So rice, beans, tortillas, Mexican desserts, and I know these folks can't even pay their bills. And they're at my office bringing food for 15 people, and their kids are bringing it in. And so they're real people. And maybe because they don't work the great jobs, or they don't look like someone who's demanding respect, they deserve it. And so that's the one thing I would say. If you're going to work with Spanish-speaking clients, please give them respect that they deserve, because we all like that. We all appreciate that. That's all.
Great
I'd say.
advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
Sure.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations on the success of your
Thank you.
firm and your practice.